Well, by now, you've probably heard the term she-cession. The pandemic forced many women to drop out of the workplace for taking care of kids, family members. And I talked with business reporter Shibani Joshi about how women can use this moment to rewrite the rules a bit.
Well, we all know the pandemic has been hard on literally everyone, but especially hard on working women.
Well, the stats are pretty scary out there, Amity, in terms of what's happened to women during the pandemic. 1.8 million women have left the labor force since the start of the pandemic. We have labor participation rates at a 30-year low. And experts out there are all scratching their heads. This is a job seekers market. Why aren't people returning to work? And particularly, why aren't women? And the number one reason that experts out there are pointing to is childcare, is burnout, is responsibility for very traditional tasks like taking care of the home, childcare, and whatnot. And women are just finding it increasingly impossible to be able to do it all right now.
If we're being real, though, professional women have always been overworked and under-supported. The pandemic exacerbating the situation, but you say it's time now to rewrite the rules. What do you mean by that?
I argue that this is a really remarkable time, an empowering time for women, because we have the captive audience in the ears of corporate America right now. Every manager, every leader, every corporate executive out there is trying to find ways, one, not just to get employees, because we know that they are really hungry to get employees through the door, but to retain and attract women. And they are thinking and creatively about different flexible options by which to recruit women, to retain women. Right now, there's some really exciting dialogue going on right now. And I think this is a great time for women to be reconsidering returning to the workforce.
Yeah, strike while the iron is hot. And speaking of which, do you have any advice for women who'd like to go back? I have a lot of friends who maybe took a step away to have babies and during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Any key advice for women who are scared to jump back in?
Well, I've been there. I scaled to part-time when I had my kids, and ramped back up. And I know that it's scary, and it's scary for all women that are prospecting returning to the workforce. But the personal advice and the professional advice I can give is that this is an employee's market right now. Big companies are having a hard time putting seats, filling seats inside their company. We have a choice in terms of many great options that are out there. So that's the good news. You're not coming into a tight labor market where it's impossible to find a job. This is a good time for you to enter into the marketplace. So come in with confidence. The other thing that I would say is that take your time finding a job that meets your needs. If you're like me, I've kind of rethought about how I want to work. I want more flexibility. I want to be able to normalize the home life activities that I have, whether it's picking up my kids, certain appointments that I have. Employers are so much more receptive to this flexible workplace notion, whether it's working from home for a few days, going into the office for a couple of days. There are so many creative options that are out there. We need to be able to vocalize what we need and then take a position that fills it, and don't go in there taking jobs that you don't feel are a good fit off of the bat. The other thing that I've spoken to anecdotally all across the board, and I know we're all experiencing, is having these really heartfelt conversations with our partners and spouses in terms of creating more clarity in terms of the emotional burden and the emotional load that we carry as women. And if we're going to share financial responsibility, we also need to start sharing the responsibility at home and having more defined and structured conversations and sharing that responsibility with our spouses and our partners. That will also enable and free us up as women to go and take on more substantive roles in the workforce.
I could not agree with you more. Final question. I've been a full-time working mom since my first was born. And it's been hard to, feel like I'm doing a good job as a mom and work. Do you have any advice for us working moms on how to balance that?
It's advice that I try and tell myself, because I feel the same sort of thing. The one thing that the pandemic has been a gift for me personally is letting go of perfection. I no longer strive to have a perfectly clean house, a fresh cooked meal for my kids. I'm throwing chicken nuggets and warming up stuff and teaching them. We're having cereal for dinner sometimes at night, and we were doing what what we needed to get by, and everybody got by okay.
Yeah.
Everyone survived, and in fact, we all learned how to take care of ourselves, and we lowered the bar and lowered the standards for ourselves as mothers and as women. And I think overall, that was a really good adjustment that we all experienced, and I hope we can take that into the future as well.
I really like.
I'm feeling empowered.
Yeah, I loved that conversation with her. And like you said, kind of one of the things that was really important to remember is that, you know, we need to readjust how we look at things and do things.
And then also the power dynamic at home. Like if
That's
you're
what I
going to
mean,
be contributing to the money, then you've got to adjust the
The microwave is the MVP of my house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, is there going to be a danger? Everything is microwave.